for the producers, when you started with season 2, did you find yourselves kind of altering any storylines, or was this whole season designed from the beginning?
Season 2?
Yeah.
Truthfully, in the beginning of season 2, we were sort of terrified. It was actually the hardest thing I've ever had to write because, we'd had so much great success in season 1. We were just all terrified that we were gonna be one of those shows that was like, oh yeah, they had a great first year and then, fizzled out. So there was we had a lot of pressure on ourselves but so many of the things we did were, again, things that we had discussed from the pilot. I mean, when we made the pilot, 2 of our biggest ideas was that Sarah wasn't dead and that at the end of season 2, Oliver would wake up in Hong Kong. And, those were 2 things that we managed to get to in season 2 that were things that we just discussed casually amongst Greg, Mark, and myself.
What about getting John back? Was that just a wish list thing?
Well, it's funny because, as you can see, I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and I knew John would understand because it's kind of happened with Captain Jack that he was on and we said, so you have to go away for a little bit so you can come back again even better. And John's like, yeah, I understand that. I've done that once before. I'm happy to do it again, thank God. And, we were always planning leading up to John being a regular in season 3.
Okay. Okay, so, and Mark, you showed me something backstage that you guys already have season 3 mapped out.
Yeah, actually, we have a huge set of cork boards. Here, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
You want to see it?
So this is going to be all the spoilers you're going to get this season. So
yeah, basically, this is the whole
pictures.
season. As soon as my phone cooperates, I'll show you. Yeah, basically, that's it.
See, there it is.
There. Yeah. Wrapped out. Yeah.
Yeah. Steven, season 3 is Ollie, completely embracing his hero side. Mm-hmm. And in a way, you have been the hero of this show. You have stepped forward with social media and reaching out to the fans and really just being so accessible. I feel like in the same way that Ollie has not failed his city, you have not failed this show.
Oh, thank you.
Do you feel as responsible for this show as Ollie feels for Starling City?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's if anything, there were points in the first couple of seasons where maybe it was a little bit more important to me than it should have been. And, but look, I waited my entire life for an opportunity like this and to see the way that the fans have reacted. I remember sitting in this hall, or in this, where are we? Are we in a hall or a ballroom?
Ballroom.
Thank you. I remember sitting in this ballroom and making a promise to the people that were here that we were going to work really hard and that the show wasn't going to suck. And that, it sounds simple, but that's what drives us every day.
And Colton Haynes. You always have to build in time for the screams. So Colton and Willa, you guys had some amazing stuff, especially at the end of the season this year, really touching right before you went to the dark side, Willa. These guys, I really.
Hey.
Were you guys just
That's
chomping at the bit to get these 2 together and had these great emotional scenes?
I mean, we kind of hit it off from the beginning. Right? Our first day, my first day on the show, I got to work with Willa, and we had this really, really fun.
It was one of our first scenes was actually our kiss scene, which was pretty hilarious. It was one of my favorite things that we got to shoot together in your. Well, hey guys, come on, how could it not be? Look at Colton.
They actually told us to do mouth to mouth.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite stories to tell, actually.
I'm bad at telling the story, but.
Our first kiss scene, our director asked us to do more kissy. That's the way he worded it. And then so Colton and I were just like, okay. And he's like, wait, no, can you just do more mouth to,
mouth
your
to
mouths,
mouth is what he
better
said.
to mouths?
Yeah.
And so I grabbed his nose and just breathed straight into it. Yeah. I thought that was kind of what he asked for. He asked for mouth to mouth, so.
She has amazing breath, so.
I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's great.
It brought me to life.
And so Willa is daughter like father. Have we found out yet?
I mean, I was just having this conversation. Thea is going through something pretty crazy right now. And all I can say is that I have been hitting the gym a little bit. And I think that's like really the only thing I'm allowed to be hinting towards because, I mean, these guns are just so amazing. How could you not?
And how has it been taking her from like druggy prep school dropout to supervillain love child?
She's definitely made a big change, I'll say that. There's no more vertigo dancing around on tabletops for Thea. I think she's going to be not necessarily a good put-together girl, but a different girl. Definitely a different girl. The Thea that you guys saw in season 1 and season 2 is not the girl that's coming back in season 3.
All right, so David, fatherhood, coming to dig. Coming to dig town.
Daddy Diggle. Oh, yeah.
Hashtag Daddy Diggle.
Yeah. How is fatherhood going to change not just the man, but also his place on Team Arrow? It looks like somebody doesn't want him on the front lines anymore.
It's a very, very good question. A lot of dramatic tension because, he's a child and the stakes get higher. Does he stay with the team? Does he leave?
By the way, the scene that you guys saw in the preview where David is yelling at me and whipping his massive arms, it was almost impossible not to flinch.
Yeah.
John, you are back.
Yay.
Daddy's home.
First, I need to ask your co-stars, what is the raunchiest thing he has done on set so far?
If you say anything, I'll kill you all.
So it must have been good. What do you know about what Mr. Merlin is up to now?
Well, I was actually just saying to Andrew as we were talking, and he said, have you read the scripts? And I literally just flew in yesterday from London, but I have yet to read what I'm about to do. So I'm sitting here not knowing like you're knowing, and these guys are saying, have you just seen this? Have you seen this? I'm like, no, shut up. I don't want to know because tonight I'm going to be in my hotel room going, no way! Are you kidding? Can't wait. I really can't wait. And that's part of the excitement about episodic television for me is almost not knowing what you're going to do until that script comes out. Because then it's that's the thrill of doing it, is trying to figure out how you do it, but also how you make it really believable for you guys. And also just makes it much more fun because it's more spontaneous that way.
All right. Paul?
Hello, sir. I was just enjoying myself then.
I'm assuming he survived. Whatever the chest pains, was it just gas?
It was a dodgy takeaway that night. That was definitely an issue. Those chest pains, well, they brought me down, didn't they? But I appear to be on this panel, so I don't know. What do you think?
And
We have to talk afterwards, Paul.
The only problem with that is all my hair fell out as a result of this heart situation. But
Well, now you're covering it with, it looks like a captain's hat.
it does look like a captain's hat.
This man has had the craziest police career.
I know, it's been
in
up and
3
down, right?
years. Quentin's come to become like the Commissioner Gordon of Starling City.
Well, you said it, not me.
Any chance of us seeing him, this is for the producers, working with the CSIs of Central City?
With the what?
The CSI team of Central City.
Well, that is an interesting question. I'd like to direct that to our producers on the right-hand side. That'd be a nice place to go to, right?
Well, we previously announced that episode 108 of The Flash and 308 of Arrow are going to be a 2-hour crossover event. Which I guess you guys think is a good idea.
I don't think they want this. I don't think they want this to happen.
No.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing people from both shows crossing over. But that's one of the fun things, and Greg always talks about, that, when we were kids, the $6 Million Man, A Bionic Woman, when those shows would cross over, or, when you would see, Oscar Goldman, go back and forth. It reminded you that there was sort of reality to it, and that, and these spin-offs, they're not existing in different worlds, and things that happen in Starling City affect Central City and vice versa, and it's really exciting to us.
That's awesome.
It is exciting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's totally awesome.
Do you guys have anybody, for the actors on the panel, do you have anybody who's going to be on The Flash that you want to work with?
I want to work with Jesse Martin. I like Jesse Martin.
Yeah. I want to work with everybody.
Not Robbie Amell.
Oh yeah, and Robbie Amell. I want to work with Robbie Amell. I can't believe I didn't say Robbie Amell.
I have to ask about this because we know, and I think in episode 3, Felicity's going to do a visit.
Episode 104 of The Flash,
Okay.
Felicity is going to show up in Central City having...
Okay. So I need to ask, is Starling City big enough for all the people you're bringing in?
Yeah. When we actually first sat down with DC, we'd asked if we could bring Ted Kord on, and they had other plans for him. And then they said, well, how about Ray Palmer? And we're like, that's better. And when we originally pitched it, we sort of said that, we want to bring on somebody who's a lighter hero, somebody who's a little bit more fun and, a little bit Superman. And so we got Superman.
And are you guys going to have any fun? Is anyone going to point out that he kind of looks like Superman?
No.
And he's also got his eye on Felicity.
You got to do the love triangle. You got to do it.
It's like she's the only flavor in town. She is the best. So now let's talk about Felicity. This has been long in the making. This is a thing. Let's talk about it. What can you tell us about this situation?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something about their date. This is a really big spoiler. They go for Italian. It's true.
Everybody likes it.
Everyone likes Italian.
They, we weren't trying to fake anybody out with their confessions, or Oliver's confession to her at the end of the year last year. No, we really weren't. And so we'll deal with that directly this year. Their feelings for each other, which I always believe have been genuine.
All right. And Steven, what is it like now? The dynamic has to shift a little bit, right?
Yeah, look, it's not like there hasn't been sexual tension between the two characters. This year they just go out on a date. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens I can't say anything, okay?
All right, then let's just say, how does the date go?
Horribly.
All right. Also, a dynamic that's been changing is the Oliver Roy situation. They are now full on sidekicking it. How is it been being like the Jedi Master to Mr. Cheekbones here?
How's it been, Steven?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's really cool having the second nicest suit on the show now.
The suit's pretty badass, though.
It is.
Isn't it, you guys?
No, it's the dynamic between Oliver and Roy brings out parts of the Oliver Queen character, and a lot of the the smarter, more sarcastic, more humorous elements of the classic Oliver Queen character that we are building towards. And I think that the Oliver Roy dynamic allows me to play a lot of those things, but there are unresolved issues for Roy leading back to last season. So again, however good they are right now, I'm sure they'll get bad really fast.
I'm imagining the Merlin-Thea situation is going to be a problem for the two of them.
I'm looking, for me as John, as the fan, as the guy that has the DC encyclopedia lying next to his bedside table. Seriously, I'm really looking forward to the conflict and also a bit of fun, because Malcolm he's a bad guy, but he's also a smart guy and he's got a sense of humor. And it's great also that Ollie's that side has come out with Colton and all that kind of stuff happening. So,
Is it safe to say that we will not be seeing a lot of island flashbacks going forward?
Well, not necessarily, because when the show began, he was on the island. So, but for this year, we didn't want it to be a a new set of bad guys showed up on the island again this year. How fortunate for our storytelling. But we'd always had this plan. And if you watch season 1 and season 2, even back in season 1, I think it's in 111, Oliver says, I got a message from my father, and Diggs says, how did you get a message from your dad if you were on the island for 5 years? And Oliver just ignores it. So, there are things that we've been planting, on success that, we're finally going to pay off this year. But it's a whole new opportunity to put in new characters, and then there's characters that we've seen previously on the show that will appear in the flashbacks.
Paul, how is the Lance family doing?
Oh, they're always doing fine.
Really?
Yeah, they're fine. There's a few wrinkles here and there, but they soldier on. They get on with it. As long as somebody's running around at night trying to save the city, they're fine.
David, the fatherhood thing, the parenthood thing that Dig is going to be walking into, if it does cause problems with him and Team Arrow, he does have kind of like a side gig with some other people who aren't so awesome, but very powerful and super powered kind of.
Right.
Do you see him going to kind of being like, well, screw this, I'm going to go with...
Yeah, forget it. I'll just become part of the Suicide Squad. No. That's a great story. Suicide Squad's a fantastic story. Mike Rowe, Deadshot, forget about it. It's just been really, really good the way the audience has really responded to that. But I don't know. I think Diggle's heart is here. He's just as invested, I think, in this crusade as Oliver is.
It's getting awfully crowded down in Oliver's lair. More and more people. Is his identity the worst kept secret in Starling City?
For us, the whole Clark, you just missed Superman. He was just right here. Where were you? Is the least interesting aspect of all of these superhero stories. So, and for us, every time we made the decision collectively that it was time for somebody to find out, whether it was Tommy or Laurel or Felicity, all of a sudden the show got a million times easier to write and a lot more interesting to us. And so we've never felt like, Oliver's secret identity. I feel like there are other shows that have sort of trafficked in that, and that's been fine for them. But, for us, it's much more interesting when people know and they can have conversations. Certainly this season, Katie Cassidy's character and Laurel and Oliver's relationship and the, Laurel's journey this season, which I think everybody's going to be really excited about, is far more interesting that they can have realistic conversations about everything without, having to hide so much.
Mm-hmm. All right, so going down the panel, from the actors from Paul down, I want you to give us your favorite scene of the person next to you.
So my favorite scene of Barrowman?
Mm-hmm.
I always fast forward when it gets to Barrowman. Where's my best? There's no way I could pin down one particular scene that this guy does. But I do have my favorite moments of when you're filming with him. And he has these, there was one in season 1, I think, and it was this particularly dark, sinister moment, ominous, peculiar, going on between us. A glance, a peculiar moment, dark. and then it's cut, and then he walks back around the corner and goes, "Hi! Gotcha!" Those moments definitely stick in your brain.
Show me exactly what I did.
Oh,
Willa, okay. I could be selfish and say the scene which I really loved, and the railway carriage for us.
When I shot you?
Yes.
No. That was nice.
And I am going to be selfish, and I am going to say that. There's a lot of great stuff that she's done. The stuff that when the city was about to collapse because of the earthquake machine, that she had with Roy and stuff like that. I think that relationship for me is quite good. So there's not really one particular that I would say. It's kind of, again, I think, Willa herself is great in those scenes when it's got some passion and intimacy behind it. So yeah.
That's my baby girl.
Tell me more. Well, okay, this is actually really difficult because Steven's in basically every scene. So, how do I pick a favorite one?
No pressure.
Yeah, seriously. Okay. The first thing when you asked that question, the first thing that popped in my mind was, again, selfishly a scene that I was in with Steven, but it's actually the first scene, one of the first scenes that we have together, this first or second episode, where he talks about how the Kardashians get more airtime than he does right now. And it's just the delivery on that. I will never forget that. I remember shooting that scene so well, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
I did not think that's where you were going.
There's so many places I could have gone, but that's where I went.
I thought that Colton, obviously it was a scene between Colton and Willa, but I thought you were phenomenal in this. The last scene between you and Willa in the finale last year, I thought that the both of you, there's so much stuff going on in that episode, and then we get this 2-3 minute respite in this wonderful emotional moment between two characters. I thought that it was like graduation for Roy. I liked it. I really liked it, okay?
Thank you, Steven. Well, that was really nice. Thank you. I almost started crying. Well, where do I start with this guy? So actually, you kind of mentioned earlier, Diggle had a scene in the trailer where he's kind of frustrated because, with having Roy and Team Arrow kind of come together, it's kind of hard to for Oliver to delegate what people are supposed to do and, who can do what. And I think that Diggle gets a little frustrated. And we got to film a really, really cool scene where basically he was saying, what am I supposed to do? I've been here since the beginning. And it was a really, really emotional scene, and we got to see a really, really big character range from you, and it was really, really awesome.
Am I supposed to do that now?
I think I started a chain reaction.
All right, what I thought Paul's best, and that's actually pretty easy. It's so much good work that Paul does, obviously, but there was a great scene where he thinks he has an opportunity to be with his wife again, and he doesn't. You guys know the scene I'm talking about? And he's right there, and you see it on his face, like, oh, I can really be with you again. And she's like, no, boo-boo. I have a new man. And he's like, oh, wow. And you see it all on his face. His heart just breaks on screen, and it's fantastic work.
I'd lean on your shoulder now if I could, David.
Hey, lean this.
All right, we are going to go. There we go.
That's my lean to you, okay? That's my lean.
We're going to go to audience questions.
Awesome. Wonder Woman.
That's great.
That'd be a good one.
We've actually been really blessed. DC Comics has been so supportive of us. Jeff Johns is a partner with us on The Flash. And we've gotten, adding Katana this year, Robbie Amell, who some of you might remember as Steven's cousin, and the star of the Tomorrow People is playing Firestorm on The Flash. So, we've really gotten to bring on the kinds of people that we've wanted to bring on. We haven't made too many asks that we have not received. So I think all of us are pretty happy with the characters that we're getting.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, man. Okay. My name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years, I was stranded on an island with only one goal: survive. Now I will return to Starling City to fulfill my father's dying wish and use the list of names he left me to bring down those who are poisoning my city.
Nice.
But to do this, I can't be the
Killer.
The killer I once was.
I once was. To honor my friend's memory, I must be someone else. I must be, well, in the second season it was Friends.
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
must be something else. Previously on Arrow. Yeah,
I'd say.
I'm really good. And people ask me the question all the time. They're like, who would win a contest between Katniss and Hawk? Of course I would win. Shots fired.
Can I just
fired.
interject
Sure.
here? Patricia is the woman that helps Stephen with his archery skills.
right. Yep.
Seems to do a reasonable job. I asked her a question one night. We were looking at him over in the corner. He's holding this thing and all the rest of it, and looking like he knows what he's doing. And I said to Patricia, I was like, can he really do this stuff? And she went, this guy can run up to a wall, run up the wall, shoot the arrow, and still hit the target. So I think that's the answer to your question. He knows what he's doing.
All right. And I think this is going to be our last question.
Ivo is not her father.
We know
Sorry
her.
to quash a rumor. We've actually known Felicity's backstory for a long time, you know, again, like some of the other things we've done, when you look back at stories even from season 1, there are clues there. But one of the early episodes this season, the flashbacks are going to be to Felicity and her time at MIT.
Nice.
So there.
You know what I love? I love, because I know you guys are fans and everything and all, and of the whole genre. But I love when you say those things, the smiles on your faces. It is so wonderful. That's what's wonderful about being a show where everybody really is into what's going on. It's amazing.
We never, in our wildest imaginings, thought that we would bring in so many different characters and bits of comic book lore, and we never thought. We were always pinching ourselves and going, how did this happen? I mean, we always thought, we'll have the show, and the show will be the show, and it'll be good. We never thought we would have, you know, Arsenal and the Huntress and Deathstroke and, you know, Canary. We never thought we would get to do all these things.
Awesome.
We're so excited.
So I have to ask Greg, when you guys get together to talk about where the show is going, are you guys just like a bunch of kids?
Yeah, I mean, we are. You know, one thing I want to take this opportunity to do, though, is thank everybody here tremendously. I think it's really a fan-driven show, and we're so appreciative, and so any opportunity we can to say thank you to you guys. And so... As excited as we are about what we do, we're just as excited by everyone's response and everything you guys do, and Twitter and Facebook and the conversation that happens, we take really seriously. So keep it going, and thank you for all your input. It has informed some of the choices we've made on the show.
I'm going to thank our panel. You guys give them some love. Amazing. And thank you guys so much. You're amazing.